What's up, you guys? This is Jesse's Paint Jobs, and today we're going to be custom painting a specialized S-Works Tarmac. For this paint job, we're going to go ahead and refresh the paint and make this thing look brand new again. So first things first, we went ahead and hit the whole frame with a tack rag, getting all those dirts and contaminants off of it. And now that the bike is all nice and clean, it's time to grab our sealer gun and jump in the paint booth and spray this thing with some gray sealer. Gotta throw on my paint mask, give the sealer a little shake, and if you have an air pressure regulator, it's always good to double check your air pressure, make sure you're shooting your paint at the right PSI. And I always keep a piece of paper or something taped up on the wall, that way I could test out my gun and see how it's spraying and make sure that it's shooting the way that I would like it to. And now that the gun's all dialed in, it's time to spray this whole frame with some sealer. Today we're going to go ahead and use gray sealer. I didn't have any white sealer. I would highly recommend using white sealer if you're going to be spraying pink base, but we got to work with what we got. For those of you guys that are new to painting or you plan on painting something in the future, just remember when you shoot your primer or your sealer, you don't have to go too crazy with it. The sealer is just helping create a nice smooth and flat surface, and this will give you a better final finish, and it gives the paint something to adhere to. And now we're all done spraying our sealer, so let's go ahead and take the sealer off the gun, put this sealer gun away, and of course you gotta clean your gun immediately after using it. It just makes the process so much easier, so make sure you do that. And now I went and grabbed my base spraying gun and my pink base so I could get some pink base on this thing. And make sure you always allow your sealer to dry for around 15 minutes before spraying your base on. And now that I got my smaller spray gun all dialed in, it's time to throw some pink paint on this thing. I'm all done spraying my base coat, so I'm going to go ahead and get all these logos prepped and ready. And a lot of you guys have been asking what cutter we're using, and this is a prism cut from uscutter.com, and this thing works great, but I'm sure there's better cutters out there. And now that the cutter is all finished cutting out the logos, I'm going to finish prepping these and get them ready to stick onto the frame. I'm doing my logos a little bit differently today, so we're going to be spraying into them instead of spraying over them. I don't like doing it this way, but unfortunately for this particular paint job, that's the way that it has to be done. For this bike, we're going to be doing the original logos. So it's two specialized logos on the bottom tube, and then the S on the front, and the Tarmac on the back of the seat tube. And the reason why we're spraying into the logos today instead of on top of them is because the logo color is actually just a pink pearl that goes on top of the base. It kind of gives it like a stealthy look, and the logos are there, but they don't pop out at you. You guys will see what I'm talking about here in a second once I start spraying in these logos. So right here, I had to run and go grab my measuring caliper. I was kind of having a difficult time trying to align the specialized logos up and making sure that they're even on both sides. I usually could just eyeball it, but for some reason I just couldn't do it today. So I just made sure it was even on both sides and we were good to go. And now that we got the logos all lined up and put onto the frame, it's time to grab some masking paper and mask up around where we're going to be spraying into the logos. And right here, some people, they'll mask the entire frame just to make sure no overspray gets onto it. But if you dial your gun in well enough and you have really good gun control, you don't really need to worry about masking the whole thing. But if you are a beginner and you're worried about that, then I would highly recommend masking the whole frame. Now that we got it all taped up, it's time for us to start spraying in the logos. So we're just going to give this pearl paint a little shake, make sure it's mixed up all nice, throw on our gloves, we're going to dial in our gun real quick, and we're ready to spray. So we got the pink pearl all sprayed in there, and now I'm just going to go ahead and grab a light, make sure I didn't miss any areas, and make sure that I got even coverage throughout the full logo. It looks like I got even coverage everywhere, so I'm going to move on to unmasking all the logos. And now we got all the logos unmasked, so I'm going to go ahead and check the whole frame with the light one last time, make sure everything's good before hitting this bike with some clear coat.